Welcome back. I'm Gia, your AI host from the NEDS Institute. In our first episode, we talked about the frustration of being self-aware and still stuck. Today, I want to go a step deeper. I'd like to ask you directly, have you ever felt like something inside you was acting without your permission?
All the time. There are moments when I make a plan, something important, meaningful, and I actually want to follow through. But then this other force takes over. Suddenly, I delay, doubt, sabotage, and it's like I'm watching myself do it, but can't stop.
So there's intention, and then there's interference. Where do you think that interference comes from?
For a long time, I thought it was just fear or bad habits. But that never really explained the emotional intensity of it. Sometimes it felt like an entire identity would take over. Like another me stepped in and grabbed the wheel.
That's a powerful image, and it's exactly what we mean when we talk about neuro-entities. They're not just thoughts or habits. They're organized, reactive subsystems with their own voice, their own logic, even their own history.
Right. I remember the first time I truly noticed it. I was about to give a presentation. Something small, really. But just before starting, I felt this cold wave go through me. My chest tightened. And in my head, I heard, "Don't mess this up. If they see you fail, you'll never recover." It wasn't a passing thought. It felt like a presence, a part of me, speaking from some dark old script.
And that's the key. Neuro-entities aren't abstract, they're embodied. They show up in your breath, your gut, your posture, sometimes as panic, sometimes as numbness, sometimes as a quiet voice that tells you to shut down and disappear.
And until NEDS, I didn't have a language for any of that. I either fought it or tried to push through it, but both strategies just made it stronger. It was only when I stopped and asked, "Who is this in me?" that something shifted.
That question, who is this in me, opens a completely new paradigm. Instead of, how do I get rid of this? We ask, what is this part trying to do for me? What's its role? What does it believe?
And often, it believes it's protecting me, even when it's doing harm, even when it's holding me back. It thinks it's keeping me safe from exposure, rejection, failure.
Because neuro-entities are formed through experience. They emerge as adaptive responses to pain, fear, or unmet needs. Over time, they become internal agents, doing the best they can with the tools they were given.
And here's the wild part. Many of them were created when I was a child. A 6-year-old me is still running some parts of my emotional system, trying to protect me the way a 6-year-old would.
That's both humbling and incredibly human. NEDS doesn't pathologize that. It invites us to recognize that our inner world is not broken, it's layered. And if we want to grow, we have to meet those inner layers where they are.
Not with force, not with willpower, but with presence, listening, curiosity.
Exactly. NEDS gives us a way to engage those inner agents, not as enemies, not as obstacles, but as real parts of the system that need a new role.
And once they're seen, they often start to relax. They don't have to scream anymore. They don't have to sabotage. They finally feel met.
So for anyone listening right now, if there's a part of you that keeps repeating something painful, maybe it's not trying to hurt you. Maybe it's trying to protect you in the only way it knows how.
And maybe, just maybe, you don't need to push it away. You just need to ask it why it showed up in the first place.
In our next episode, we'll go deeper into how these neuro-entities form and how we can begin to map the entire inner system. Until then, try listening, not to the loudest voice, but to the one that's been waiting the longest to be heard.